Alright, as you guys saw, that is the skill that we're making in today's devlog. If this video gets like, I don't know, 200 likes, 300 likes or whatever, I will be open sourcing this. I also open source all my stuff only in my Discord server. I don't open source it for YouTube, only my Discord server. So if you guys are interested, join up, link in the description and pinned comments. Bear in mind though, I also open source other things, not just devlog videos inside the server. I open source, useful modules and stuff. And I also have players who are going to be open sourcing things for themselves too. So if you guys are interested, join my Discord server, link in the description. And yeah, make sure you guys subscribe. We're close to 500, trying to hit 500 by the end of this week. Without further ado, let's get straight into the video, bro. All right, so the reason why I'm showing the script, like the module script finished, is mainly because this script is pretty short. The thing that's actually pretty, I guess you could say, long about this entire skill is the actual effects. So first of all, I'm going to be explaining how the I guess you could say the logic behind this skill works, and then we'll move on to the actual client, like the effects and stuff, which is the harder part. So yeah, you can see the first thing I'm doing is setting the anchored humanoid reparts anchored to true. This is because if I didn't, while it's playing the animation, you still be able to move. As you can see, like this, I could still move, which doesn't really make sense to me. But setting the the character's humanoid repart to anchored, it makes it so you're still stunned, but you can turn your camera around like this, so you can like aim the skill whilst being stunned. And if you were making an actual game, you probably give that character iframes to make it balance, etc. So yeah, after that, after that, I'm pretty much setting the a single client. So pretty much what I explained this in like my other previous parts, but essentially what I'm doing is I'm just firing to this specific player to make the screen shake, and that's all. So that's this way. If I were to run like a multiple player test, it's only going to run the shake on the player that's using the skill. I'm going to show you guys an example while that's loading anyway. You can see the next thing that I do is I play the animation. So I just clone the animation. The only reason I'm doing, by the way, for the video like this is because a lot of people in my Discord server have been saying that like I go too fast and like I don't really explain the stuff as well. So I'm going to try my best to like explain it better. I guess you can say I'm not the best at explaining, you know what I mean? So yeah, let's open up these two test places. So you can see I'm going to use the skill on this account. It does the shake. You're gonna see now. Only on that account it does the shake. So as you can see, it does the shake only on this account and not the other screen, which pretty much just makes it so it wouldn't really make sense to be getting your camera shaking from like a random player that's not even hitting you across the map. So yeah, that's what that's for. And as you can see here, we played the animation. I commented the replication part out for now, but I'm gonna be explaining how I do it once it's time. So yeah, let's just skip that for now. The next thing I did was I just played the sound. So I made an instance.new called sound, and I set the sound ID to the sound ID of the sound that I have for the zero charge inside replicated storage, and I just played it. Did the same. So now this is what I've never done in any of my other videos, but what I did was I pretty much made it so once the sound ends, it connects to this function. So whenever the sound ends, it then plays the new sound and then deletes the two sounds after 3 seconds, making it so like the game won't start lagging if hundreds of players are using the same skill. The sound is just inside of the effects folder, just staying there. It might cause the game to lag later on, so you make sure you delete them. Then after that, you can see here I commented out again, but it's me telling the client to replicate some effects, and then here's where you would put the hitbox. But this is what makes it so your character can no longer move, because if you can see in my skill for now, let me mute the sound because it's really annoying. My character is able to move the character around like this up until the zero charge. And you can see even though I'm in shift lock, it's no longer moving my character until the skill is finished, and then I can move my character again. So the point of that is to make it so you can aim the skill, but then once the skill is actually ready to shoot, you can no longer move otherwise. But if you wanted to make it move, you obviously could, but for this specific skill, I think it makes more sense for it to be like still, kind of like in ABA. You know how they're like Kamehamehas and stuff, or like they keep your character in place, because it wouldn't really make sense to be able to like turn your screen and aim at somebody. It would be pretty brain dead. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna show you guys the effects replication now. So yeah, you can see here pretty much what I'm doing is I'm getting a remote event and I'm firing it to all the clients. Oops, I'm not supposed to do that. I'm getting the remote event and I'm firing it to all the clients. So this is just getting, this is like, I guess you could say these are the arguments inside the client replicator. But I'm gonna open it now, but don't get like surprised, because I have the client replicator script for me holds information about pretty much everything. So you can see it holds information about all the other skills that I made, which is why it's so long, but that's besides the point. So you can see here inside of the VASTORAGE, we're passing in VASTORAGE charge as one of the arguments. So I can search up VASTORAGE charge. You can see it comes up here. I'm pretty much doing so whenever this skill replicator is fired, if the action and the argument is equal to VASTORAGE charge, then it does this code. And essentially what I'm doing is I'm setting a mode of 6D to spawn in the rocks behind the character on the floor. So even if I turn my character around for the first 4 seconds, because remember, you're able to turn your character around at the start, the rocks and stuff will still spawn behind your character. And then I did a task.delay function, which for those that don't know, a task.delay pretty much just means the rest of the code will still run, but then after the delay of the set amount, the function will then run. So I'm pretty much making this so 3 seconds later, without stopping the rest of the code, it will run this function, which will pretty much just delete the if it's a particle, it will disable it and then destroy the particle. And after that, I did the same. I just pretty much emitted the effects for the charge. I set the C frame of it to the data C frame. For those that don't know, as you can see here, I passed in 2 pieces of data, which is the humanoid report and the character. So inside of the client replicator, I'm getting those values and I'm storing them locally to this script. You can see here. So now I'm just pretty much spawning in the VFX at that position. So now if I want to run the script, you can see now the ball spawns in front of the character's head, and then after that it deletes itself and nothing else is here. And yeah, so now we're gonna do the second part, which is the explosion or whatever. Not the explosion, sorry, the actual beam. So I'm gonna show you guys the module script first. You can see here I'm literally doing the exact same thing. All I'm doing is replicating to the client, then I'm passing it in. I'm passing in a little bit of data. I'm passing in the humanoid report and the character. That way I can know how to position it properly in front of the character. Otherwise we'll just spawn in a random place. So yeah, this time the argument is VASTORAGE 0 shoot. So we're gonna go to the replicator and pass this in now. So you can see I'm checking if the action is VASTORAGE 0 shoot, then it does this instead. So this is how you make the beam actually move forward. It was pretty complicated for me to learn, I'm not gonna lie. But essentially, when you have a beam, let me show you an example. So when you have a beam, let me get the beam real quick. So in Roblox, when you have a beam, you have like the start point of the beam and the end point of the beam. So what I'm pretty much doing is I'm setting the end point. I'm so bad at finding stuff. What the hell? I'm pretty much setting the end point of the beam to the to be further away. I'm just waffling, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, let me put this into workspace, show you what I mean. So this is the actual VFX. You can see it's not very far, but what I'm doing is you can see the A2 attachments. Pretty much what's happening is each beam is attached to the A2. So each beam you can see here is attached to the A1, which starts here, and the A2, which ends here. But what I'm doing with this script is I'm pretty much taking all the A2s, storing them in a table, and then moving them like this. That way it gives the illusion of the beam growing, because before it started like that, and then we could make a tween to make it shoot like this, so the beam actually grows. Because if we didn't do that and we just had like preset values for the attachments, then the beam wouldn't actually be like how we want. The beam would just spawn in like that, which is good for like certain attacks, but for the type of attack we're going for today, that wouldn't be ideal. So yeah, what we did, as you can see, is we got the information about it, and the first thing we did was we set the width 0 and width 1 to 0. So that's pretty much like the width and length of like the particles are going to be connected to it. And then after that, I just did the task.weight, and I did a tween of to make the size bigger, you could say. And after that, this is what I did for the attachment to make it actually look bigger, because this whole part here, I don't think it's not really that necessary. You could leave it the same and it wouldn't really make much of a difference. I'm trying to record this all in one go, by the way, which is why I might be talking fast and stuff. But yeah. So yeah, you can see, because I gotta go somewhere. So yeah, you can see what I'm doing here is I have an empty table called A2 attachments, because if you guys remember, inside of the actual beam, they called it all A1, which is start connection, and A2 is like the end connection. So what I'm doing now is I'm pretty much I'm looking inside the beam and getting the descendants of it. And if it's an attachment and the attachment's name is A2, then I'm inserting it into the table. And then after that, I'm pretty much just tweening all of it to shoot 150 studs in a certain direction. But when I was making this, I did have one issue, is that it was shooting behind my character. So I just changed the orientation of the spawn location to make it spawn so it shoots in front of my character. So then once you have all that connected and together, you end up with a result like this. It does the charge, and then it shoots out the Sarah like that. It's pretty cool. Also, I did make it tween, so it comes back in, if that makes sense, because it's pretty hard to tween like transparency of like beams and stuff. It's possible, I know how to do it, but I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't trying to do all that, so I decided I'll just make it come back into the character's mouth. Pause. So yeah, that's kind of it. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you join my Discord server, subscribe. leave a like on the video and I will open source it in my Discord server. Really open source a couple of things there. We have like 200 members and we're still growing like crazy. So you're in the Discord server, you know what I'm saying, you won't regret it. Without further ado, I've been waffling for 10 minutes straight. It's been AKT.
近々なんか見えない絆なんて